All right, well, when Miss Joy Mangano is in the house, we're talking crazy town because over 14,045 have been ordered, and I'm one of those 14,045 because I did order these. It's the Joy 11 piece. I'll go through all the pieces that you're getting. These are 100% cotton towels. They're plush and they're true perfection because what they do is they have a bleach and cosmetic resistant property that is because of the weave of the 100% cotton towels. These are lightweight, these are soft and fluffy and plush, luxurious, spa-like. They have a lattice design with adobe and then the rope edges, and they have the shower towel includes a loop for hanging. So we have the coolest assortment. Beautiful colors. I know there's gonna be a chart to show the colors. Good housekeeping seal. This is the espresso, which actually is what I bought. I got it for my daughter's bathroom. My daughter uses salicylic acid in her cosmetics for, you know, acne. I'm sure she's loving that I'm saying this on TV, but her towels have like little light spots all through them. And those of you who use products like retinol, that'll do it to your towels. And by the way, you can put these in the washing machine and use bleach because sometimes you want to get your towels really, really clean. Well, this is the first towel that I've ever seen that you can do this, and you're getting a big configuration. Now these are fluffy, fluffy towels and gorgeous colors. And Rob, I think we have a chart to show all the different colors that we have. This is the espresso. Okay. Yeah, let's show the chart so you see all the great colors. Well, bright white. I know most of you are like, all right, I want that luxury spa experience. And if you guys all remember that daytime talk show host who doesn't have a daytime talk show anymore, one of her episodes, she said, everybody has to have white towels. And then America just all bought white towels. We have white, lilac purple. So we have a violet, which is a darker purple, lilac, which is a lighter purple. The buttercream, we've got that lighter color. And then the darker of that family would be the driftwood. The espresso brown would be the darkest. That's one I got. The vineyard green is perfect for spring. Aqua is that spa color. The fuchsia fun. Melon is kind of that orange that has like a brightness to it that is, you know, will go with all sorts of browns and tans and neutrals. A lot of us do our bathroom in those colors. The retail value is $225.95. You are getting 2 large bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths, 2 shower towels, 2 wash mitts, 1 bath mat. You are not getting Valerie, but Valerie is here in our freezing cold studio in a towel to show how luxurious. Now, so she's got the bath mitt on her hand, and that's really perfect when you're taking your makeup off. You know, it's just a little mitt for you to just do that. And then also, that is a big plush towel. And we have Valerie out here, so you see what a big towel that is. This isn't like that little teeny towel that will barely go around you. This is, you know, you get 2 of the big ones. Now, a lot of people that are ordering are getting more than 1 set. There's, a matter of fact, I would recommend it. And a lot of them will mix and match together beautifully. Like if you want to do like the dark purple and then that lighter lilac lavender together and mix and match colors that kind of, you know, are the same family that look really cool together. The white, of course, would go with anything. These are fantastic gifts, but take a look at the towels in your bathroom right now. Are they sad? Are they scratchy? Do you feel like they're not absorbent? These are 100% cotton. Now, we also have a bonus buy deal. So if you buy the Joy Mangano 11-piece towel set, you get 50% off the 2-pack of the huge jumbo towels. It's 50% off. So that's a big deal. So if you want to check that out, and Rob, how much are the jumbo towels without the 50% off? The 2-pack. Okay, I'll let you guys know. But I think the big deal for this is that they are resistant. So yes, they are 100% cotton, soft, absorbent, spa-like, plush, luxurious. But the main thing is when you've got your hand towel, you wash your face at the end of the day. And most of us use, you know, like something in our, retinol, you know, some sort of salicylic acid, some kind of, you know, cleanser, something. It's such a big deal that they will not get those spots on them. They're resistant.